So let's talk a little bit about the ability of parrots to learn human language. And so Alex the parrot is one of the most famous examples of this currently. And he was a gray parrot, African gray parrot, that was born in 1976 and died in 2007 and was trained by Dr. Irene Pepperberg since 19, actually it's hidden there, but since, a while. And he had an impressive ability to speak and understand English for a parrot. And I'm not going to show you this video right here. This is actually a link that you can watch of Alex in action on YouTube here. But you'll hear him. He has certain parrot abilities. And what we know about Alex's language is that speech sounded remarkably accurate. And if you've ever been around an African gray parrot, they can produce speech that sounds, very recognizably like human language, like English, for example. But of course, their vocal tract is very, very different from a human's vocal tract. It's produced very differently, these human language sounds. And Alex, in particular, knew the names of about 150 objects, plus some fixed expressions. And he was able to answer simple questions about objects, like what sizes, what things are green, or what color is the box, what size, color, material of blocks, for example. Something notable, and this is something that's actually rather different from human children learning the same kind of information, is that Alex required immense amounts of training, right? This is very, very different from human children. And here is one where we're going to watch a little snippet of. This is a more recent African gray parrot where we have a TED Talk excerpt named Einstein. And Einstein, you can watch the entirety of this TED Talk here if you want to see more about Einstein, who's quite adorable. Einstein, the African gray parrot, has a vocabulary of more than 200 words and sounds. She can perform nearly half of them on a cue from her trainer, Stephanie. And she can do a lot of really fun impersonations. We're just going to watch this little brief snippet right here.
Pirate. There you go. And what do pirates like to drink? Beer. Yeah, that's right. But you don't like to drink beer, Einstein. You like to drink water. Very good. Now, really, she is.
Right, so you can see that, Einstein has lots of vocal ability, right? And again, when we're talking about her human language knowledge, she was able to have a vocabulary of 200 words and sounds, and that sounds pretty impressive, right? But again, she required a lot of training. And so what we sort of take away from this at the moment is that the parrot language acquisition process, that is parrots trying to learn human language, it seems rather different from a child, if nothing else than the amount of training, like targeted training required, is very, very different. Parrots need a lot of explicit training, kids not so much, and the output of that process seems to be much more limited than a human child's output. For example, the average adult human actually knows tens of thousands of words, not just a few hundred. So for example, this is an excerpt from David Crystal sort of estimating how many words most people know. Most people know actually about 50,000, like English-speaking people, for example, know about 50,000 words easily. A reasonably educated person, about 75,000. And an ordinary person, he says, one who, say, has not been to university, would know about 35,000, right? Thousands, not hundreds, right? So very, very different output, process, end state of knowledge compared to our still very cool parrots, right? But they are much more limited than humans.